The population of Earth in 2018 is over 7.5 billion people. Statistics show that 80% of the world's population has a cell phone. That's over 6 billion people in the world. Cell phones in this generation have become an addiction. Kids, teens, and even adults around the world use their cell phones about 18 to 20 hours in a day. These actions cause adults to be worried about the outcome of future generations.
How will cell phone addiction with teens affect the future?
I personally think that cell phone addiction is really going to have negative social consequences in the future.
I think teenagers are going to have a harder time communicating face-to-face with people.
I do think it's an issue only because people in our generation have become used to depending on their cell phones rather than just living without them.
You can't even count because of how many times I pick up the phone during just class and any way through the hallway.
I think too many people mentally tie their feelings to themselves into, who's talking to them, how many likes they get on certain things, and if you're not getting the response you want, all of a sudden that could lead to, feelings of depression and feelings of anxiety. I think that's going to be bad.
Social media platforms like Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook have teens and adults around the world hooked.
To be honest, I don't think we're in that much of a danger. But definitely the younger generations who are growing up with it, like straight out of the womb, they've got an iPad in their hand. Yeah, they're the ones that are screwed, not us, really.
When they get out to certain jobs that don't require technology use, they have to work in groups and pairs with people they never met, and unfortunately, social interaction sometimes seems to be lost with teenagers' heads always in their phones, talking to each other on media instead of face-to-face. And I think that skills is going to be lost out on the next generation.
Nowadays, most teens are addicted to their cell phones. One of the most common worries is texting and driving, which not only affects teens, but even some adults. Most teens and adults are aware of the dangers. However, in some cases, a text message is more important to some than causing accidents and even death.
Have you ever texted while driving?
I'm going to have to say yes. I'm not proud of it, but I definitely do it every once in a while. I get caught up just like everybody else.
Texting and driving is a problem in this generation because everyone can get distracted from driving and cause an accident, and they can get severely hurt. And it's definitely an issue in our generation because we grew up with all this technology, especially texting, and it's not something that we should be doing while driving.
Definitely, it's a big issue. I spend a lot of time on the road, and I can definitely see a lot of distracted drivers. If I drive up next to them, I will definitely look at them and glare at them and see if I can catch their attention to tell them that I know what they're doing and why they're driving so poorly.
I wouldn't do anything about it because that's not my decision. That's not my thing to worry about. Like, that's their personal decision if they're doing that, so they're responsible for themselves.
The biggest problem, it takes away from just everyday surroundings, just knowing where you are, what's going on. Just walk around the halls of the school and see kids, their faces down as they walk through halls. You say hi to a student, they don't even know that you said hello because your head is buried in your cell phone. And it's nice to see what's out there, what's going on around you, say hello to people, interact, and I think cell phones take away from that.
Cell phones have become such a big part of students' lives. Changes to the school system have needed to occur because of using devices for homework, games, and more.
I think our generation is affected by cell phone addiction just due to the fact that we're attached to social media and things like Snapchat and Instagram. But I think younger generations are going to have a lot of trouble with social skills. I think cell phones are a good thing for schools due to the fact like things like Kahoot, Quizlet Live, and like other studying resources. But at the same time, kids can get carried away and not pay attention in school because they're constantly on their cell phone, texting their friends, Snapchatting, looking through Instagram, Twitter. So I think it's a good thing if you're using them for the right thing.
Children now who only use iPads and games will suffer major social consequences.
I certainly think that not giving people devices at a young age and making people wait and understanding that it's okay, kids will figure out ways to contact you in an emergency, that is important.
Wait until your student actually hits high school before giving them a cell phone. Maybe just get them one of the phones that's for emergency purposes only.
One of the other things that I hope we can do in the future is sort of maybe, you know, some of these phones and these app designers will have some built-in like time constraints on things that will help people manage their time better and get them off of this stuff, so that way we're just not constantly, you know, the fear of missing out is a real thing, and hopefully we can break that habit.
Obviously, schools cannot ban them because they've become such a part of life, but maybe, you know, do something where students should not have them out in class. They really need to enforce that. Maybe there's something that companies can do to limit the time students can use their cell phones, like software out there that might shut down certain things except key features between school hours, or maybe allow parents to put that out there. I'm not sure about that.
There are many things we can do to prevent further cell phone addiction. To start, challenge yourself not to use your phone for a day. You'll see how much you struggle and how much you really rely on your phone.